All right, now we pick up with some of the eukaryotic microorganisms that we'll be studying in this class: the fungi, the algae, the protozoa, and the parasitic worms. And in this video, we're going to talk about the fungi. And this is most of the organisms are unicellular. You have some that are colonial and live in groups. The cell walls have chitin in them. And there's over 100,000 species. You've got macroscopic, macro means big, fungi, which is your mushrooms and your puffballs and your gill fungi. And then you've got microscopic fungi. Micro means small. And here there's two different morphologies or body types. There's the hyphae, where you've got these long filaments, and this is what molds have. And then yeast, where you have a round oval shape that reproduce asexually by budding. And some of them can exist in either form, and they're called dimorphic if they can do that. Now, looking first at the microscopic fungi, the molds, and the fungi that has the filaments, the hyphae, you can see that there are long thread-like cells that make up the bodies, and you can see this over here in figure B really well. And you see various textures and color differences because there are spores. The yeast are also microscopic fungi, and they are distinguished because they are oval shaped and because they reproduce asexually by forming buds, a little swelling on the surface, and that bud breaks off and becomes a separate cell. They do not have a cell wall or any kind of organelles that help with locomotion. Now, what do fungi eat? They're heterotrophs, so they can't make their own food. Most of them are saprobes, saprobic, which means they live off dead plants and animals. Some of them are parasites, though, and they live on the tissues of other organisms. But none of them are obligate, and that means none of them are restricted to a particular way of life. They can change. And fungal infections are called mycoses or mycosis. And what they do is they secrete enzymes, and this reduces the food source to small molecules, and then they absorb them into their cells. And you find them everywhere. And if you look down here in figure B, you're looking at athlete's foot, which is a fungal infection. Now, they reproduce mainly through spores, and those are formed on the hyphae. Just reproductive spores that are formed. Now, what about the benefits and problems they cause? Well, of course, the mycosis, the fungal infections, that's a serious problem because they are opportunistic. If the conditions are favorable, then they will take over. They also can produce toxins and cause allergies, and they destroy a lot of crops and foods. Beneficially, though, they are associated with plant roots in what's called mycorrhiza, and they increase the ability of the roots to absorb water and nutrients. A lot of antibiotics and alcohol and organic acids and vitamins are made from fungus or fungi. They are decomposers, and they make a lot of foods, and they're used in genetic studies as well. Now, this is a table of the major fungal infections that cause problems for humans. In your mucous membranes, your skin and your nails, you can get Candida albicans, which is a yeast infection. You can see they can affect your lungs as well as your skin, the outer epidermis, the hair, as well as the dermis. So they can be very severe if you've got someone that has a compromised immune system, like if they have cancer or AIDS, they can cause severe problems. Our concept question here, concept check, fungi are generally classified according to their type of sexual spore or asexual spore or hyphae or habitat, the type of hyphae.